I'm recording my videos in my attic. So right now I am actually in my attic, and I can assure you that this place is 100% Mac proof. Well, I think it is. Hey guys, welcome to a new review by J Mare. And this time I'm gonna talk about the new big shark blockbuster movie that just came out, the Meg 2, The Trench. Yes, the Meg movie from 2018 got a sequel, 5 years later. It's not my most anticipated movie of this year, not by any means, but I was actually very hyped to see this movie. I just wanted to be very entertained. I wanted to have a fun time with some big sharks. Did I get that with that movie? Yes, I was actually entertained. But the movie is actually just dumb fun. It's a very dumb movie, but with a lot of fun. And every year we have this kind of movie that is just a lot of dumb stuff in a movie, but somehow it works and it makes a fun experience watching it. Last year I had that with Moonfall, also a very dumb movie, but I had a lot of fun watching that movie. And this year, that's apparently the Meg 2. What is the Meg 2 about? Well, like I said, we are 5 years later after the events of the first movie. But we are still at the research center that are doing research to megalodons and to the trench. It's a place very underwater, close by China, I think. And this movie we are still with that same team. New faces, familiar faces, but they are still doing research in the trench. And this time we are going on a research with them to the trench. But then some other party pops up who wants some kind of thing in the trench. Was not really sure what they wanted to have. And they are messing up things and problems arise. And there are new megalodons swimming in the ocean. And that's basically the plot of the movie. And yeah, actually I think this is a very fun movie, but it also has some dumb stuff and some issues. I will dive into the issues a bit later, but let's focus on the things that I really liked about this movie, because there are some things that made me really enjoy this movie. First of all, the opening scene. Some parts of that opening scene we already saw in the trailer. But I think that opening scene was a very creative way to open a movie. That's the scene where we go back to prehistoric times with the dinosaurs, and we actually see their own version of the circle of life. So bigger animals get eaten by a bigger and bigger animal, until we got to the megalodon, who is the apex predator, until Jason Statham arrives, of course. But that's a very cool opening scene. It's also nice to see that the movie, we actually see in the movie that the team is going to the trench. Like, it's not really the same movie like we got with the first movie. In the first movie, a megalodon escapes from the trench and they are chasing it to kill it before it causes a lot of mayhem. It's not that kind of movie, this one. In the title we have the subtitle The Trench, and they actually spent a big time of the movie in the trench. So we have a lot of underwater scenes. And that part of the movie really feels like a Jurassic World, but underwater. Besides the megalodon, we also see a lot of other creatures that are living very deep in the ocean. So that was very cool to see. Cool scenes actually, cool action scenes, even in that underwater station. Were some very nice action scenes, so that was all nice to see. And also, a third part I really liked in this movie was the third act, because the third act was all about this creature mayhem on this island, and that was actually very cool. Besides the megalodon, we also have other creatures in this movie, like gigantic squid or octopus. Couldn't really see what kind of the two it was, but that was a cool creature to see. And also we had this, I don't know what the name is of this creature, but so little creatures that grow on the land, and they are also very fast and dangerous. But I really liked seeing those creatures in action. There was some cool scenes with those little monsters. But yeah, the third act, a lot of creature mayhem, was very entertaining stuff in the third act. But that also brings me to a major issue I have with the movie, and it is that the Megalodon has to share its time with other creatures. So it's not all about the Megalodon, and that's a bit of a shame, because if you go to see a big shark movie, you really expect to see a lot of big sharks in action, and that's not always the case. We get them, we see them, there are scenes with the big sharks, there are scenes where Jason Statham fights the big sharks, but for me, in my opinion, there could have been a lot more with the big sharks in this movie. And don't get me wrong, I actually liked seeing those other creatures in action, but I wanted to see just more of the Megalodons. And that's also because we see this a lot with these kind of big monster mayhem mashup movies, like the Godzilla movies. They tend to focus more on the characters than on the big monsters. And that's kinda a problem, because people who wants to see big monster movies, they want to see the big monsters and not some boring human characters. And the characters, they were not really that interesting in this movie, besides two. Of course, we have Jason Statham. He's Jason Statham, he's always cool. He had some cool scenes, it was really nice to see him in action, and you can really tell that he had some amazing time making this movie. And the other character that I really liked was DJ. He was just very funny for me. The lines he say, the things he do, it really works. The humor of that character worked. So those two characters were interesting. But besides those two, the others were not that interesting. Even the villains were not that interesting. And also, the second plotline, besides the big shark and the creature plotline, the other plotline with the humans, I could not really get into that. It brought some good action scenes, but the story on itself was meh, not really that big of a deal. I wanted to see big monsters, especially the Megalodons. So there were some issues I have with the movie. Other than that, there are some dumb moments in it. People that are doing dumb things, saying dumb things, but that's just the charm of these kind of movies. They are meant to be dumb, but they are also a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, I still like the first movie more. This movie actually made me appreciate the first Mag movie a lot more. But I still think the second movie is very entertaining. It will give you a nice time if you don't think about anything that really happens. There are good movies to watch without full brain capacity, so if you're looking for that kind of movie, the Mag 2 is certainly the film to see. And I actually hope they're gonna make a third movie, so we can have this nice Mag trilogy. So that would be cool. But all in all, really enjoyed the Mag 2. It's not great, but it will give you a fun time. So that were my thoughts on the Mag 2, The Trench. Hope you liked my review. Always give your thoughts in the comments. Would love to read those, and till the next time.